Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Tree of Woe Wrestling Podcast. I am the Black Patriot, and this is the Wrestling Podcast where we always put wrestling first because wrestling is the number one priority. And that being said, guys, remember, like, comment, share, subscribe. It's a small thing for you, but for me, it means the world, and it means the world to the channel. And jumping right into this video, you know what we're here for. This is a Monday Night Raw review. And guys, outside of two segments, this was a status quo Raw. And the two segments is obviously the big thing is the return of Brock Lesnar. We're going to get to that later. And continued bloodline feud. Jacob Fatu versus Roman Reigns and Jimmy and Jey Uso. You have a 2.5 hour show that only two segments were good. And I would say really only one. The best segment of the night was what they opened Raw with. The bloodline. The rest of the show, yeah. The rest of the show still have glaring holes and problems and things I've been calling out about this product the whole time. Dead tag division, dead mid-card division. Intercontinental champions on the show, both of them not doing anything. Becky cut a promo, but nothing happened. Tag team, just pack them up. I had suggested in a previous video that you merge the tag titles, just pack it up, because they're not doing anything with the tag team champions. At this point, the Street Profits are going to face the Vision, and the Street Profits should take the titles. That'll make it a fresh face with the belts to just walk around and continue to do nothing. And then my other issue with the show is Liv Morgan. I was so happy for her return. I was so happy that she won the Royal Rumble. And then I was equally as happy that she defeated Stephanie McMahon at WrestleMania to become the women's World Heavyweight Champion. But right now, what is Liv doing with the belt? What is she doing with the belt? I'm going to tell you what she's doing with the belt. Not a damn thing. That is what she's doing with the belt. So, Brock Lesnar returns, and the bloodline feud is the backbone of this show. You take Roman Reigns out of this show, or take Brock Lesnar out of this show, you get the same old BS. Nothing to see here, nothing special. Now, there were two matches that I can say were well wrestled. The matches were good, but at this point, I don't even care, and we're going to get to that. So the show kicks off with Jacob Fatu in the ring, and then the Usos come out shortly. So we're back to Jimmy and Jey just being Roman's lackeys. It seems that the only thing WWE got for Jimmy and Jey is to follow behind Roman. Wasn't Jey just main event Jey Uso? Wasn't Jey just the World Heavyweight Champion? Why don't these guys have any ambitions for themselves? Why is the only thing they want to do is serve Roman? Like, come on. This is neither here nor there, but don't you think, wouldn't Jey Uso want to get the World Heavyweight title back? Instead of protecting Roman from Jacob, he need to be thinking about his own career. Aren't they collectively one of the greatest tag teams ever? They are. So why don't they care about the tag teams? Only thing these dudes seem to care about is protecting and following Roman, fighting Roman's battles when he's not around. Jey comes to the ring with a steel chair, so he's ready. He's unhinged. He's ready to go upside Jacob's head. Jimmy is the one that's trying to talk some sense, but everything they're both trying to talk some sense into him, but only thing they're saying is, acknowledge him. Stand down, fam. Roman is the guy. That's all I got from it. That's all I took from this. is only thing they want is to see Roman elevated. That's ridiculous, yo. I would want a world title for myself. I would want to worry about my own career. If I'm a singles wrestler, if I'm main event Jey Uso, or if I'm with my brother Jimmy and we the Usos, I will be worrying about my own career. Of course, Jacob isn't having any of this. And it's funny that Jimmy told him, like, you were supposed to acknowledge Roman Reigns because you lost at Backlash. That was the deal. I don't think Jacob ever took that deal. You know what I'm saying? He didn't seem like he's taking these deals that y'all are putting before him. Jimmy brings up the fact that he was about to go, that they about to fire him. And he was like, you lose this job, what you going to do? Go back to prison? Anyway, this segment, and to keep this moving, this segment devolves into a brawl. You know it got to be a brawl. That's how we do it on WWE. That's how Hunter Hearst GPT books. Cheap pop booking brawl segments. But this was actually good because Jacob has been getting the best of Roman and the Usos for the last couple of weeks. So the brawl ensues. Jimmy gets choked out with the Tommen death grip first. While Jacob is choking him out, Jey Uso hits Jacob with a chair. He no-sells the chair shot, turns around and chokes his ass out next, yo. So on their own, we're shown that the Usos are not enough to handle Jacob because Jacob mops their ass up quickly, expeditiously mops them up. Out comes Roman. Roman comes out and gets mopped up too until, of course, the numbers game. They end up ganging up on him 3v1. That's enough to subdue him. That's enough to get him trapped in the ropes. And this is the part where it gets really good. They beat the brakes off Jacob Fatu. And I'm talking about brake. He say no gas, all gas, no brakes. Yeah, there were no brakes left on this man because they beat the brakes off this dude. A barrage of super kicks, a barrage of Superman punches, followed by a spear from Jay and a spear from Roman. And I'm talking about this was a super kick party. They kicked the crap gave this Bama all Nikes to the mouth. A bunch of super kicks, a bunch of Superman punches, the spears to finish them off. They on their way out. They're leaving the arena. I guess Adam Pearce is still mad that he got touched. Like wrestlers haven't touched him before. But he's coming out to fire Jacob Fatu because Roman was like, now you can do whatever you want to do. But get this, Jacob Fatu recovers. Jacob Fatu recovers and challenges Roman Reigns to a tribal combat match. And Roman accepts. So the tribal combat match exception is what saves Roman's job because it definitely seems like Adam Pearce was about to fire him. Because the way he was like, Jacob Fatu? He was out like he's about to fire him. But we're going to get tribal combat. I don't expect Jacob to win that match either. If you want me to be perfectly honest with you, and if you want me to keep it 100, they are pushing Jacob. They're making him look strong. But I do not think he is capable or he is going to be the guy to pin Roman's shoulders to the mat. I don't think so. But yes, this was a very strong segment to kick off Raw. Roman Reigns and the Usos have been getting dominated by Jacob Fatu. It was about time for some comeuppance. Because I was going to say, if Jacob would have beat them again, I would have lost interest in this. Because I was losing interest already. And if Jacob would have destroyed them again, without any form of retribution, I would have gave up on this already. Next, you get a brief little video package with Finn Balor talking about JD McDonough, how JD McDonough was supposed to be the one to have his back, how he brought JD McDonough into this business, and he will take JD McDonough out of this business. Now remember, I mentioned 2 good matches. This was one of them. I'm not going to sit up here and fake, and I'm not going to sit up here and lie. I like Finn Balor. JD McDonough, man, I don't know. They WWE is giving me nothing to like about the guy. I don't even like. He don't cut promos. He's just in Judgment Day. But I do like Finn. I've called him Penn Balor because he loses most of his matches. But tonight, there was no stopping the man from Bray Wicklow County. Because despite Judgment Day interference from Dominic, despite JD bringing it, because they did have a good match, you couldn't stop Finn tonight. He ended up putting JD in a trash can, giving him a coup de grace from the top while he was inside a trash can. That was enough to pack that boy up, get JD McDonough out of here. Finn Balor wins via pinfall. And it's actually good to see Finn get a win. Like, good Lord, yo. Even though it's over JD McDonough, who is a jobber, that is what JD McDonough is there for, to job. But, you know, whatever. Finn needs a win. He loses all the time. So, it was good to see Finn Balor get a win. Then you get a backstage segment with Kathy Kellett interviewing Seth Rollins, asking him, is it wise to continue to go on with the vision? Now, this is my thing with this. This is the stable that Seth Rollins created, and Seth Rollins knows this. So his promo to me came off like, I brought it into this world, and I'm going to take it out. Like what your parents used to say to you. I created this stable. I'm going to destroy it. I'm going to take out Braun Breaker because he thinks he's ready for me. Bruh, he's ready for you. He beat you already. He beat you, bro. What this is attempting to do is to elevate Braun Breaker. And I can see it. They want Braun Breaker to be the guy. It's being apparent. They want him to be the guy. I want Braun Breaker to develop a personality. Develop some mic skills. And then I might take you seriously as the next big thing. No pun intended. But Seth Rollins challenges the Vision. He'll take on any member. He'll take on all of them. He'll be a handicap match. So we're going to see where that goes. But, well, it's going to go to the main event, basically. Next is another backstage segment. It's Sol Ruka being interviewed by Byron Saxton. Here's the thing with this. This leads to Becky Lynch and Sol Ruka promo in the ring. I have a problem with this. I have a problem when the champions don't do anything on the show. I have a problem with champions showing up in their civilians. You know they're not going to get physical. You know there's not going to be a match. Why is Sol Ruka the number one contender to the Intercontinental Champion when she lost twice? She does not have a winning record on Raw, and Becky actually pointed that out. So why is Sol Ruka the number one contender? Like, make it make sense. That is the only thing I'm asking for. Just make it make sense, yo. The promo is okay. Becky always does great. Sol Ruka does a mid job on the mic. So they're going to have their match. Sol Ruka wants the shot at the Intercontinental title. Becky says what we're all thinking. You don't deserve a shot at the Intercontinental title. She's like, what do you mean? Nobody said anything about my title. You do not deserve it. You're just getting here. Welcome to the big time, bitch. And Becky throws the mic down and leave. And I'm going to say that Sol Ruka really does not deserve a title shot. But I would not be surprised if not only somehow it turns into a title match, that she actually beats Becky for that belt, which would be a travesty. But I don't put it past Triple H to go out there and put the belt on Sol Ruka immediately. I like Sol Ruka. I'm not saying she need to be on the Raw for a year, 2 years before she get a title shot, but let her have a winning record. She is 0-2 right now. 0-2 does not get you a shot at the Intercontinental title. Sorry, yo. I'm sorry. Now, again, backstage segment. This is how they pad a 2-hour wrestling program. You get the Vision as backstage, and they're talking about facing the Street Profits because they know the Street Profits are next. What they say, the Street Profits are up and we want the smoke. Yes. Braun Breaker wants to accept the match with Seth Rollins for the main event. Paul Heyman, and this is the genius of Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman tells him, no, bro. We're going to let Austin Theory take on Seth Rollins. Now you know where and exactly where Seth Rollins is going to be, when he's going to be there. You could just implement our plan. This was a good segment because it definitely showed that Paul Heyman is a master manipulator. You know where Seth is going to be. You know what time he's going to be there. He ain't expecting you, and his hands is going to be full with Austin Theory. That's when you can strike. That makes sense. That is good writing. All right? So I don't have nothing bad to say about this segment. This shows that at least somebody on this show has common sense. The next joint was the other good match that I told you. Okay. As far as the wrestling goes, this was a good match. Excellent match, so to speak. Full of good spots, good high flying spots for none of these guys to actually be luchadors. It actually looked like a lucha match. But this is what I don't care about this storyline, and it's been going on for way too long. This was a trios tornado match. And I just think, because they're going to have their mask versus mask match in Mexico, I want Chad Gable to lose so he could lose his mask so El Grande Americano can be put to rest and we could get Chad Gable like some kind of wrestling machine gimmick. I don't know. Chad Gable, in my opinion, should be this era's Kurt Angle. I'm sorry. I don't think, now, I don't think Gable is as good as Angle. I'm not going to call him a poor man's Angle or a cheap Angle. But what the niche that he should be serving the company right now is the All-American Wrestling Dynamo. Chad Gable is certainly an Intercontinental Champion. With the right kind of booking, Chad Gable can be a World Heavyweight Champion. Before Ludwig Kaiser went under the mask, he kind of reminded me of a young Randy Orton. I would like to get that Ludwig back. I'm over these mask wrestling luchador bullshit. El Grande Americano is a Starbucks coffee. It's a latte. Get out of here, man. I'm over this. The match was good, but I simply don't care. I don't care, man. Like I've said on many times, I want to just see a good match. I'll watch AEW, and then AEW will actually give you a better match. So I don't want just good wrestling. I want something more. And people say, there's no story, but they've been feuding. Yes. So sometimes WWE will give you a story. Just because you have a dumbass, nonsensical, redundant storyline going on, that's unacceptable. I want a good storyline. I want something riveting. I don't want just any old BS thrown together. No. That is not what I'm here for. Also, I'm going to throw this out there. It was good to see LA Knight. Even though he didn't do anything, it was good to see him. He was in a segment with the Usos, and he was in a brief backstage segment with Seth Rollins. He called the Usos out for being Roman's lackeys and was like, if you're not going to handle the vision and things around here, then I'll just do it by myself. When he ran into Seth, he was like, the enemy of my enemy is not my friend. He's like, you got your hands full. The chickens have come home to roost. All this crap is exploding in your face. Don't think I'm going to help you. He said, but you know what's going to happen? And he called it. He was like, you're going to go out there to that match with Austin Theory, and you're going to get your ass stomped out. They need to do something with LA Knight. Even this Even these two brief segments showed that LA Knight is the best promo worker in this company. LA Knight is the coolest guy on the roster. They need to do something with him. He's mid-40s at this point. The clock is ticking on LA Knight. My man has been over like Rover for 3 years. Yeah. They need to do something with him, yo. Because LA Knight is better. I don't care what nobody say. It's not even Roman. It ain't Jacob. It ain't Obafemi. It ain't Trick. It's LA Knight. Sorry. Then you get another BS segment that I'm just going to skip over because Ethan Page was getting an interview with Michael Cole. Nobody cares about that crap. Moving on, you get the Judgment Day versus Brie Bella and Paige. People have been calling it Scream Mode. And let me tell you about this match. Nobody cared. I'm not making it up. The fans in attendance couldn't care less. Couldn't care it in the slightest. No one gave two poops about this match. And rightfully so. And rightfully so. There's no build. There's nothing going on but random matches. But hey, at least the women's champions are defending the titles. And I love Paige. She's one of my favorite wrestlers back in the day. I loved her as Saraya. I thought AEW could have did more with her. And Brie Bella is my guilty pleasure wrestler. I know she was never that great in the ring, but she's my favorite Bella. I love the Bellas and I love Brie. So I want to see them doing something compelling. Maybe they can build off of this. Maybe they start a rivalry with Raquel and Roxanne. Get something going so it just doesn't look like random matches for the sake of having random matches. You got the world heavyweight champion out here and all Liv Morgan can do is run interference. Why is nobody stepping up to challenge her for the world heavyweight title? Why does no woman on the roster want a shot at the world heavyweight title? I don't know. The match was not the best. They actually had a better match on SmackDown with Julia and Kiana James. But I'm happy to actually see them doing something with the tag team titles in the women's division. The referee catches Liv Morgan running interference and ejects her from the ring. Why that is going on, Brie Bella rolls up Roxanne for the pinfall victory. And Roxanne just always takes L's. So, the prodigy, man. And it's funny, too. Currently, my favorite women's wrestler in WWE is Liv Morgan. My second favorite is Roxanne Perez. So I like that they're on the same team. But I would really, really want to see Roxanne break away from this stable because it's holding her back. She needs to go solo. She needs to team with Finn, somehow screw Judgment Day over. And if nobody else is going to step up to face Liv Morgan, then it needs to be a Liv Morgan versus Roxanne Perez somehow for the World Heavyweight title. Because I don't like seeing my girls stagnant. Liv should be defending her title and Roxanne should be doing something else. Next, we're going to get the absolute... most people in the arena popped heavy for this. I just looked at my TV like, really? They retconned Brock Lesnar's retirement. And this is what I'm talking about. Cheap pop booking. Triple H is booking for the moment, not long term. He is booking just to pop the crowd. And that is all. Cheap pop booking. So Obafemi is coming out for his Obafemi Open Challenge. And before he can even, he's still doing his pose. Brock Lesnar comes to the ring and F5s him 4 times, completely mopping this man, packing this dude up and leaving him laying in the ring. You did all that at WrestleMania, take the gloves off, leave everything in the ring, just to turn around a few weeks later because Raw has been struggling to gain ratings, to get viewers, to get traction. Nobody cares about these PLEs. Just like they brought Brock Lesnar out to F5 John Cena for no reason, you have to pull this man out of retirement. Oh, so this was the plan the whole time, a swerve retirement. I doubt it. I highly doubt that this was the plan the whole time. I really believe Brock Lesnar did actually retire at WrestleMania. They brought him back. Money talks. Bullshit walks. They're going to get another match. Oba versus Brock. And Oba should again still win. It's Oba's time. Oba should win. Now we're at the main event. Seth Rollins versus Austin Theory. And this plays out exactly how LA Knight said it would, with the injection of the Street Profits. And it looked like there's something going on with Dawkins and Seth Rollins. Maybe Dawkins is going to turn on Montez Ford and side with Seth Rollins, because it seems like there's something going on there. But for the most part, the match was a pretty decent match. Austin Theory can wrestle, and of course Seth Rollins can wrestle. So the match itself was good, and I understand the storyline to this. I have no problem with this main event segment, except that it was predictable, because we all knew what was going to happen. Once you have these collective of wrestlers in the ring, you know that the Vision is going to run interference for each other. You know the Street Profits are going to come out, which is going to prompt Braun Breaker to come out. And that's what happens. So, the match, Seth Rollins eventually wins the match clean via pinfall. Of course, after shenanigans, Logan Paul tried to give brass knuckles to Austin Theory to take Seth Rollins out. Rollins was able to counter the knuckles and land a pedigree for the win. Logan Paul comes in after the match and they double team Seth Rollins, kicking his ass. The Street Profits come out to even this playing field. Braun Breaker comes out, ends up spearing Montez, and Montez was showing that he's the man out there. This dude got ups, yo. Ups. But he eats a spear after pushing Dawkins out of the way of it. I think that's a subtle jab at how Seth Rollins did it, where Seth Rollins made sure that Dawkins was hit by the spear. Montez is like, you're my brother. I'll take this bullet for you. And Seth Rollins ended up getting overwhelmed by the Vision. The show ends with the Vision standing tall as they leave the arena. Seth Rollins on the ground looking like he just got his ass whipped. That was your Monday Night Raw. Not the worst episode, certainly not the best. However, this is probably the best episode of Monday Night Raw I've seen this year, possibly last year as well. But only because Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar made this show good. And I would have to say Roman Reigns and the Bloodline more so than Brock Lesnar, because I really don't care about Brock Lesnar being back. I was happy with him being retired. He went out on his back as you're supposed to in wrestling, and he put over Obafemi. Now you're going to retcon all that. Okay. This better not be to get to SummerSlam and Gunther retires Brock Lesnar. They better not do that. But we will see, guys. If I had to grade this show on a scale of 1 through 10, I will give this show a solid 5. And I've been giving these shows zeros and negatives. I will give this show a 5. This was the height of mid. It could have been better, but it wasn't absolutely unwatchable. It wasn't garbage. It wasn't trash. So it could have been better. If they're going to step their game up, this is going to be a step in the right direction, because this show was almost there. Almost there. That's why I'm giving it a 5. It was halfway. If I had to give it a letter grade, I will give it a C. I've been giving these shows D's and F's. I will give it a C. It was halfway there. Other people need to step up. Storylines need to evolve and be developed. If you are a champion, something about the belt needs to be being done. Why couldn't Penta and Ethan Page have some type of face-off? Why couldn't they have a promo? Why is he sitting down with Michael Cole? Why is Becky Lynch being challenged by a woman that is 0-2, that have done nothing? She does not deserve a title shot. Oh, and I forgot. So, after the women's tag team match, the Judgment Day took advantage, and Bayley and Lyra comes out to save them. So that's all you got Bayley and Lyra doing, running interference. I would argue either one of them deserve a title shot more so than Sol Ruka does. But I don't book this crap. Guys, this has been the Tree of Woe Wrestling Podcast. I'm the Black Patriot. Thank you guys for tuning in. And remember, guys, hit that like, comment, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your wrestling buddies. I'll be here. I'll always be here, bringing you the dopest wrestling content on the net. Thank you. Peace out and be safe.